What if you could have the practice of your dreams? What's holding you back? Imagine a life where you have everything you ever wanted. Good morning, welcome to Accelerate My Practice. So glad you could join us here today. Not sure why I did the wave there. Don't know why I do the things I do some days, but nonetheless, so glad you could join us. And Shar, how are you today?
I'm awesome. How are you? I'm doing the big wave. I'm awesome. I'm doing great. Doing great, yes. Definitely a good day, good morning. What about you?
Life's grand. No complaints at all, at least none that I'm going to share here on camera. So today we're going to talk about bloody gums instead of bloody faces, which is sort of appropriate, you know, with that segue. So periodontal disease, how can we get more patients to accept treatment, pay for treatment for getting periodontal disease treated? Where can we have these sorts of conversations? And then, you know, I think we'll, time permitting, we'll role play how to go through this. And there's some key words that we want to make sure and use. You've heard us talk a lot about how important verbiage is, how important words are that we use. And sometimes we use words that it doesn't portray something as dramatic as it could. Well, one example is having the conversation and talking about bloody gums. Bloody gums certainly gets the point across to some degree, but if you start talking about hemorrhaging, that's perhaps even a stronger word, and maybe gets an even stronger emotional response out of people. So I've found that if we can use very, very graphic words, kind of like Stewie did, to get the point across, it's amazing how it can elicit an emotional response out of people. And that's obviously what we're trying to do, is to get people to change behavior. Stewie was trying to get behavior changed and get the bill paid by the dog. What's the dog's name?
Brian.
Brian. Obviously, I don't watch Family Guy. I am a Family Guy, but I don't watch Family Guy. But trying to get Brian to pay the bill. And so to elicit that obviously was invoking some strong emotional responses. And we want to do the same thing. Obviously not, like that, but to get people to move. And if we just talk about, you've got swollen gums, or maybe even periodontal disease, that might not evoke the same response as talking about hemorrhaging and verbiage like that can get people's attention. So we want to look really carefully at what words we use and paint very graphic pictures. Another example would be when we're looking at bone loss. If we start talking about bone loss, it might not be something that is going to evoke a response out of somebody. But if we talk about permanent bone loss, I mean, this is gone. You can't get this back. And the impact of that is a loss of tooth structure that we cannot get back. And if you lose enough bone, we can do fancy surgeries, expensive surgeries, and using the term fancy surgeries, of course, portrays that it's going to be expensive. We can do fancy surgeries to put bone back in, but as in its natural state, we can't do that very, very easily. So it's important that we arrest this process now. Again, another very key word, as opposed to, hey, I just want to kind of make this work better than it used to. That doesn't get that same response across. So I want to arrest this process right now and get it to stop completely so we can avoid permanent bone loss.
Absolutely, because also what you're doing whenever you have these keywords, you are instigating a sense of urgency within the patient to take action now. So far with what they've been doing up to this point has gotten them to their current position of where they are today. So now whenever you have them have that sense of urgency of I have to take care of this now, I understand that this is only going to get worse, payments are going to go up, like the price is going to go up. I mean, who knows what else can happen. Actually, we'll go through that. But getting that sense of urgency is what you're trying to do to get the patient to take action.
But we do want people to understand that procrastination is very, very expensive, and in some cases completely irreversible. And I personally love that statement of procrastination is expensive. It's one I use all the time with people. and sadly then gets used on me.
Yep.
But it's a very factual statement that does paint we all procrastinate. We all know that we procrastinate. Now the challenge is understanding the repercussion of it. And I think that that's important for us to understand that. If you have questions on this topic, please get in touch with your coaches.
Absolutely.
If there's something that's a bigger issue, if you will, or something where you think we're crazy or we need to add to it, please email it over to us, and we'll absolutely include it on some upcoming shows. Otherwise, I want to hear back from you. If you're finding success stories, please email those to us or call us, or we love video. Shoot video. If it's working well, if you're finding something that's working, or you've got that patient the story about that patient like the one in Boise, man, pull out the phone and record a quick little snippet for us so we can play it here in the show and share your stories with everybody else, your successes. There's nothing more fun than seeing your own face on TV and joining us here. And we'll put up a little monitor right over here. You can be able to see us or see yourself. It'll be just a blast. So we would love to see you join us. The bell apparently means that we're out of time and it's time for us to go. So we appreciate you joining us here today, and we'll see you next week here on the AMP TV show, 8 o'clock Mountain, 10 a.m. on the East Coast. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
What if you could have the practice of your dreams? What's holding you back? Imagine a life where you have everything you ever wanted.